Speak Up, Your Guide to English Confidence. Introduction. Does talking in English make your hands sweat? Have you ever been somewhere, like a work meeting, a party, or just asking for directions and the words didn't come out because you were afraid of making a mistake? If this sounds like you, know that you are not alone. Many people learning English feel this way. It feels like being on a stage with everyone watching you. It's okay to feel a bit scared when you use a new language, especially English. This feeling means you are trying hard, learning, and being brave. This book is like a friend to help you understand these feelings and feel sure when you speak. We will take small, easy steps together. For a long time, learning English meant being perfect. People worry a lot about using the right grammar, saying words just right, or never making a mistake. But what does perfect English mean? Does worrying about being perfect help you talk to people or share your thoughts? Often, this fear stops us from speaking. It builds walls instead of bridges. So, this book has a different, stronger idea. Talk so people understand, not to be perfect. What does talk so people understand, not to be perfect mean? It's easy. It means the most important thing when you speak English is to share your thoughts, ask questions, and connect with others. It's about getting your message to others so they can understand you. It's about the talking itself. Trying to be perfect, speaking without any mistakes, is hard to do and not the main goal of language. Think about learning to ride a bike. Were you perfect the first time? You probably wobbled and maybe fell. But you got up, kept trying, and learned by doing. You were trying to move forward, and you learned to ride. Speaking English is like that. The goal is to be understood, to share your world. When you focus on this, you feel less pressure. You try more, and trying is the first step. This doesn't mean you shouldn't want to get better. We all want to improve. But you get better by practicing and trying, not by waiting until you think you are perfect. We will show you how to get better while you talk. This book is a guide for you. We will not use hard ideas. We will use simple steps you can use right away to feel better and more sure when you speak. You will learn how to understand your fear and handle it. You will find easy ways to practice speaking every day. You will find ways to feel more sure even when you are not. We will help you enjoy every bit of progress. You will learn how to start talking even when your mind is empty. You will learn how to handle mistakes with a smile. They are part of learning. You will find ways to practice in your daily life. We will find ways to learn new words easily and understand how people speak English in different ways. Learning to speak English with confidence is a trip, and every trip starts with one step. That first step is just to speak. So let's forget about being perfect for now. Let's focus on sharing, connecting, and being understood. Are you ready to take that step? Are you ready to find your voice and speak up? Let's start. Speaking English with confidence. It's easy to think that people who speak English well were just born that way. You might see someone speaking easily and fast and think, I will never be like that. They seem to have a special talent, right? But I want to tell you a small secret. Being good at speaking is not something you are born with. It's something you learn. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. Did you just get on and ride perfectly the first time? Probably not. You likely wiggled, maybe fell down a few times, but you kept trying. Each time you got back on, you learned a little more. Speaking English is the same. Every time you try to say a word, make a sentence, or talk with someone, you are learning. You are practicing. And practicing is the real secret to feeling sure of yourself. So, if you feel nervous, remember that this feeling is normal. It means you are learning, and that is a wonderful thing. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria loved learning English. She read books, watched movies, and did all the grammar exercises. But when it was time to speak, her heart beat very fast. She worried about saying the wrong word, about her accent, about people not understanding her. So she often stayed quiet. One day she was at a small cafe. The waiter asked her a question about her food order and Maria froze. She knew the words, but her mind went blank because she was scared. Then she remembered something we talked about. Talk to be understood, not to be perfect. She took a deep breath and thought, I just need them to understand me. So she pointed to the menu and said slowly, this one. The waiter smiled and nodded. He understood. It wasn't a perfect sentence, but it worked. That small moment was a big success for Maria. It showed her that her voice, even if it wasn't perfect, could connect with others. She didn't need to speak English perfectly. She just needed to be understood. This idea, talk to be understood, not to be perfect, is the most important part of learning to speak with confidence. What does it really mean? It means that when you talk, your main goal is to share what you were thinking, how you are feeling, or what you need, and to understand what the other person is saying. It's about making a connection. Being perfect. Having perfect grammar, never making a mistake, having a perfect accent, is not the goal. If you wait until you are perfect, you will never speak. Think about it. Even people who speak English all the time make mistakes. They might use the wrong word sometimes or forget a grammar rule. But they keep talking because they want to share their ideas. They know that most people are not listening for mistakes. They are listening to understand what you mean. Your ability to share your message and connect with someone is much more important than speaking perfect English. Let's look at some everyday situations. Imagine you are asking for directions. You might say, "Excuse me, where is the train station?" That is clear. What if you said, "Excuse me, can you tell me the way to the train station, please?" That is also clear. What if you said it a little wrong and said, "Excuse me, train station"? Even with just those few words, most people would understand you want to know how to get to the train station. They might even point or use simple English to help you. The perfect way would be a long sentence with correct grammar, but the short, imperfect way still achieves the goal. You got the information you needed. The other person understood what you wanted. That is talk to be understood, not to be perfect in action. You made a connection and the information was shared. Another example, you are at a shop and want to buy a t-shirt. You could say, "I would like to buy this t-shirt." Or you could say, "This t-shirt. How much?" Both ways, the shopkeeper understands you want to know the price of the t-shirt. The second way is much simpler, maybe not perfect English, but it works. The shopkeeper hears your question, they know what you want, and they can tell you the price. The important thing is that you were able to ask and get the answer. You communicated. Don't let the fear of not being perfect stop you from trying. The goal is to be understood, not to be like a walking dictionary. So, how do we actually build this confidence? It starts with taking small steps. Big changes often begin with small actions. Don't try to have a long, difficult conversation on your first day. Start with situations where it's not scary and you get a quick success. Think about ordering a coffee. You can practice saying, "A coffee, please." Or, "I would like a black coffee." These are short, simple phrases. You say them, you get your coffee, and you have successfully communicated. It's a small win, but it builds. Asking for directions is another great practice. Where is the bus stop? How do I get to the library? These are common questions that people need to ask. You can even practice these questions out loud to yourself before you go out. Say them in the mirror. Record yourself. The more you hear yourself saying the words, the more comfortable they will feel. What about talking with friends or family who are also learning English, or perhaps a native English speaker who is supportive? This is a safe place. You can try out new words and sentences without worrying too much about mistakes. You know they want you to succeed. Sometimes, just having someone listen and give you a kind smile can make a big difference. Even talking to yourself in English helps. Describe what you are doing. I am making breakfast. I am chopping vegetables. Talk about your day. It might feel silly at first, but it helps your brain get used to thinking and speaking in English. These small, regular efforts are like building blocks for your confidence. Each little conversation, each coffee ordered correctly, adds another block. Now, let's talk about the biggest problem most people have: the fear of others judging them. We worry about what others will think. Will they laugh? Will they think I'm silly? Will they correct my every word? This fear is very real, but it's often much bigger in our minds than in reality. Most people are not focused on judging your English. They are usually thinking about their own day, their own problems, or just trying to be helpful. When someone sees you trying to speak their language, most of the time, they feel impressed by your effort. They appreciate that you were trying to connect with them. Think about a time when someone spoke to you in a language you didn't fully understand. How did you react? Did you make fun of them? Probably not. You likely tried to understand them, maybe spoke slower or used hand signals. You saw their effort. This is how most people react to English learners. They see your effort and they want to help you succeed. Your mistakes are not a sign that you failed. They are a sign that you are brave enough to try. They are proof that you are learning. Every mistake you make is a chance to learn something new. Maybe you learn a new word, or maybe you learn how to say something in a different way next time. Instead of seeing mistakes as something to be ashamed of, try to see them as valuable teachers. They are part of the process, a necessary part of becoming a confident speaker. So, what are some things you can do right now, today, to start speaking English with more confidence? First, choose one small, easy situation to practice in. This could be as simple as saying hello, how are you, to a cashier, or asking, can you help me? In a shop. Don't try to have a long conversation. Just manage one simple exchange. Second, practice saying a few common phrases out loud for situations you might have. For example, if you plan to go to a restaurant, practice, a table for two, please. Can I see the menu? I would like the chicken, please. The bill, please. Say these phrases many times until they feel natural. Third, find a language partner or a friend you can trust. Agree to speak only English for a short time, maybe 10-15 minutes. Let them know you are practicing and that you appreciate their patience. You can talk about anything, your day, your hobbies, a movie you watched. Remember, it's about talking to be understood, not to be perfect. Fourth, try talking to yourself in English. Describe what you see around you. This is my computer. It is black. I am typing on the keyboard. Or talk about what you are doing. I am walking to the kitchen. I need to get some water. This helps you practice making sentences without any pressure. Fifth, focus on understanding the main idea. When someone speaks to you, don't get stuck on every single word you don't know. Try to catch the main point. If you miss something, it's okay to ask them to say it again. You can say, sorry, can you repeat that? Or what does word mean? This is part of communicating well. Building confidence is like building a muscle. You have to use it regularly to make it stronger. It won't happen in one day, but with regular effort and the right way of thinking, focusing on talking to be understood, not to be perfect, you will definitely see progress. Every time you speak, you are taking a step forward. Every try, no matter how small or imperfect, is a win. Your voice is important and the world is ready to hear it. And as you get more comfortable speaking, you will naturally want to understand more of what others are saying. This is a natural next step. Building confidence is a process that continues, and while speaking is important, understanding what you hear is just as vital. In the next part, we will explore how to listen carefully and understand spoken English, turning just hearing into a useful tool for your speaking journey. Overcoming fear of speaking English. It is okay to feel a little nervous when you start speaking English. Many people feel shy when they learn a new language. If you have felt worried before talking, or if words would not come to you, you are not alone. This feeling is like a small cough for people learning a language. It happens often, but it does not mean you cannot get better. Think about why this worry starts. Often, we care too much about what others think. We might worry they will laugh if we make a mistake. Or maybe we fear they won't understand us and our message will be lost. Sometimes, we worry our voice sounds strange, or that we will use the wrong words and seem silly. These worries can feel very real and very big. They can make us want to be quiet, to not speak at all, even when we really want to join in. It is like standing at the edge of a pool, wanting to jump in but being too scared of the cold water. Let's look at this worry more closely. What is really happening in our heads? Often, we have a little voice telling us all the bad things that could happen. This voice might say, "They will think I am not smart because I cannot speak fast enough." Or, "I know the words, but they will go away when I open my mouth." Another common thought is, "My English is not good enough, so why even try?" This voice focuses on all the possible problems, all the ways we could fail. It is like getting ready for a storm when the sky is clear. We imagine the worst things people might do, and we build these stories in our minds. We worry people will point and stare, or that they will get tired and leave. We might even think our mistakes are huge, obvious things that everyone will see right away. This inner talk, this constant stream of worries, is a strong power that can make us stay silent. But here is something important to think about. How often do these terrible worries actually happen? When you talk with someone who speaks English, especially if they know you are learning, they are usually very kind and patient. Most people are happy that you are trying to speak their language. They want to understand you. They know that learning a language is hard. Think about a time you met someone who spoke a different language and tried to speak yours. Were you not impressed by their effort? Did you not try your best to understand them? The truth is that most people who speak English as their first language are much more understanding than we think. The mistakes we worry about so much are often small things they do not even notice, or they understand what we mean even with a small error. The space between our inner worry and what really happens is often much bigger than we think. This leads us to a common problem, the perfection trap. Many people learning English feel they must speak perfectly before they can start talking with others. They believe that every sentence must have perfect grammar, the right words, and a flawless accent. This idea of perfection can be very harmful. Instead of helping us speak, it makes us afraid to say anything. If we wait until we are perfect, we will never start speaking. Imagine waiting to ride a bike until you know you will never fall. You would wait forever. Wanting to be perfect stops us. It stops us from taking the very steps that would help us get better. It is like wanting to swim, but refusing to get in the water until you can hold your breath for 5 minutes straight. The goal of speaking English is to connect with people, to share ideas, and to understand others. When we focus too much on being perfect, we forget this main goal. This is where our main idea, communication over perfection, becomes so important. It means that sharing your message and being understood is more important than having perfect grammar or pronunciation. When you accept this idea, you change what you focus on. Instead of thinking, "I hope I do not make any mistakes," you can think, "I want to tell them about my day." Instead of worrying, "Will they understand my accent?" you can focus on, "What is the important thing I need to say?" This change in thinking is powerful. It helps to quiet that fearful voice inside your head. It reminds you that the real reason for speaking is to connect. When you put connection first, the pressure to be perfect goes away. You realize that a small grammar mistake will not stop you from sharing a laugh or asking for help. Your message is the most important thing, not your grammar book. Think about it this way. If you were trying to tell someone you were lost and need directions, what is more important? Saying, "Excuse me, I am lost. Can you help me find the train station, please?" With a few small mistakes or staying quiet because you are afraid you might say station wrong, the person you are asking will understand you need help. They will be glad you are trying to communicate. The goal is to get the information you need to make that connection, not to win a prize for perfect English. Every time you choose to speak, even with mistakes, you are practicing this idea. You are showing yourself that communication is possible and that the world does not end when you make an error. So, how do we go from being afraid to speaking? The answer is to take small, brave steps. Getting over fear is usually not about one big jump. It is more like climbing stairs, one step at a time. Each small step you take towards speaking builds your confidence. These steps do not have to be big talks. They can be very simple actions. Maybe the first step is just to say hello to someone. Or perhaps it is to order your coffee in English at a cafe. It could be asking a simple question like, "Where is the bathroom?" Or saying thank you after someone helps you. These might seem like tiny things, but they are huge wins when you are trying to overcome fear. Each time you finish one of these small steps successfully, you get a little boost of confidence. You learn that you can do it. You learn that the fear was bigger than what actually happened. You start to collect good experiences. These good experiences are like building blocks. They create a stronger base for you to try bigger steps. For example, if saying hello feels okay, maybe next time you try saying hello, how are you? If ordering coffee goes well, perhaps the next time you try asking about a specific item on the menu. It is a slow process, a gentle push forward, not a sudden, scary jump. What happens to your confidence and your chances when you don't speak because of fear? It is like a slow leak draining your confidence and your opportunities. When fear keeps you quiet, you miss chances to learn, to make friends, to connect with people, and even to do better in your job or studies. Each time you hold back, that fearful voice gets a little louder, telling you that you are right to stay quiet. This can create a circle where fear gets stronger and your confidence gets smaller. You might start to believe that you are just not able to speak English, which is not true at all. Now, compare this to the good things that can happen when you speak, even if it is not perfect. When you speak, you open doors. You might have a nice talk with a shopkeeper, learn something new from a coworker, or simply feel good because someone understood you. These good interactions are very powerful. They show you that your efforts are worth it. They make you believe that speaking is good. Even if a talk does not go perfectly, the act of trying itself is a win. It is a step forward. It is proof that you are brave and willing to learn. You gain real experience. You learn from any mistakes you make in a real situation, and you build the strength needed to keep going. This is how real progress is made. Let's think about Anna. Anna came to a new country and was very excited but also very scared to speak English. She worked in a small shop and her coworkers spoke English very fast. Anna's fear was that she would not understand them, and they would get annoyed if she asked them to repeat themselves. She imagined them sighing and rolling their eyes. For weeks, she mostly nodded and smiled, saying only yes and no. She felt very lonely and unhappy. One day, a customer asked her a question about something to buy. Anna did not understand all the words, but she heard price and discount. She wanted to help. Her fearful voice screamed, "Don't say anything. You will get it wrong." But then she remembered the idea of communication over perfection. She thought, "I need to try to help this customer. The price is important. She took a deep breath and said, slowly, "Please repeat the price?" Her voice shook a little. The customer, a woman who looked kind, smiled and said, "Of course. The price is $10, but there is a discount today." Anna understood this. She smiled back and said, $10. With discount. The customer seemed happy. That small moment was a very big thing for Anna. The customer was patient. She did not get annoyed. She repeated the information clearly. Anna had shown she needed to understand, and the customer had helped her. It was not a long talk, and Anna's English was not perfect, but she had gotten the information she needed and had a good connection. That day, Anna felt a little happier. She realized that her fear had been much bigger than the actual moment. She started trying to say a few more words each day. She would ask, "Where is?" or say, "I need" to her coworkers. Sometimes they had to repeat themselves, but they never seemed annoyed. It would often help her find the right words. Anna was learning that focusing on the message she wanted to send, rather than worrying about her grammar, made speaking feel possible and even good. The main thing is to change how you think. When you feel that familiar worry starting, try to stop yourself. Ask that fearful voice, is this worry based on what usually happens, or is it just a story I am telling myself? Remind yourself of the communication over perfection idea. Your goal is to connect, to share, to understand. Mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs that you are learning and growing. They are steps forward, not things that stop you. Knowing our fears is the first step. We have seen that these fears are common, often made worse by thoughts about what others will think and the pressure to be perfect. We have also seen how what really happens is usually much kinder than our fears suggest. We have talked about how the perfection trap can hold us back and how focusing on connecting with people is a much better goal. And we have started to see that taking small, brave steps is the way to build confidence. Now that we understand why we feel nervous, the next very important step is to find practical, useful ways to start speaking, turning that worry into movement forward. Let's explore how to take those first brave steps. Importance of communication over perfection. Learning to speak a new language, like English, can feel like standing at the edge of a very big ocean. You see all the good things you can do, like talking to more people and opening new chances. But you might feel a little scared. You might worry, what if I say something wrong? Or will people understand me? Or will they laugh? These worries are normal. They can stop you from even trying. But here is a secret. The most important thing is not to speak perfectly. The most important thing is to speak. It is to connect with others. Imagine you are in a busy market in a new town. You want to taste a fruit that smells very good. You walk to the person selling the fruit, a nice lady with kind eyes. You want to ask, "How much does this cost?" You practiced this question. But when you try to say it, the words get mixed up. Maybe you say, "How much this cost?" Or "this fruit, price." You feel your face get warm, thinking you made a mistake. But the seller smiles. She understands you want to know the price. She holds up 5 fingers and says, $5. You nod, happy you can buy the fruit. You made your point. You connected. This is the main idea of talking to be understood, not to be perfect. It means when you speak English, your main job is to share your ideas and be understood. It is not a test where you get points for perfect grammar. It is about real life, asking for directions, ordering food, talking to a new friend, or sharing your thoughts in a meeting. Most people you talk to in English do not look for mistakes. They want to understand you. They want to know what you think, what you need, or how they can help you. Think about it. When a friend tells you a story, Do you stop them every few sentences to point out a small grammar mistake? No, you don't. You listen to the story. You try to understand how they feel and what happened. You understand their message, even if they use a word wrongly or their sentence is not perfect. The same is true when you speak English. The person listening is trying hard to understand your message, not to grade your English. They hear the meaning first. The idea of perfection can be a big wall for people learning a language. It whispers, "Do not speak unless you are sure it is right." This fear can make you freeze. You might know the words. You might know the grammar rules. But the thought of saying something wrong stops you from saying anything at all. It is like having a beautiful song in your heart, but being too afraid to sing it because you might sing one wrong note. But no one ever learned to sing by staying quiet, and you will not learn to speak English by not speaking. Consider this: even people who have spoken English their whole lives make mistakes. They might use slang words, say like or often, have a strong local accent, or sometimes use the wrong word. Does this stop them from being understood? They talk every day. They have jobs, make friends, and live full lives. Being able to connect and share ideas is much more important than perfect grammar. In fact, trying too hard to be perfect can make you sound strange. It can make your speech slow and unsure, which makes it harder for people to follow. So, what do we do with the mistakes we make? This is where talking to be understood, not to be perfect, is very helpful. Instead of seeing mistakes as failures, we can see them as helpful signs. They are like little flags that say, "Hey, this part needs more attention." Every time you speak and make a mistake, you get immediate feedback. Maybe the person did not understand you, and you have to try saying it in a different way. That is useful information. You learned what did not work, and you were trying something else. This is how learning happens. Think of mistakes as steps on your path to speaking with confidence. Each step you take, even if it feels a little unsteady, brings you closer to your goal. If you stop because you are afraid of wobbling, you will never reach the other side. When you try to speak, you are learning. You are showing yourself that you can do it. This act of trying is very powerful. It builds your belief in yourself. Let's go back to the tourist in the market. What if, instead of saying "this fruit, price," they had said, "Excuse me, I want to buy this. How much is it?" This is a bit more formal, but still not perfect. The seller might still hold up 5 fingers. The result is the same. The fruit is bought. The connection is made. The difference is how the tourist feels inside. If the tourist focused on perfection, they might have felt embarrassed by their slightly imperfect sentence. But if they focus on communication, they feel proud. "I asked, and she understood. I did it." This feeling of success is very important for building confidence. Every time you successfully communicate something, no matter how small, your confidence grows. You remember, "I spoke, and it worked." This good feeling makes you want to speak again. It makes you more willing to try a new phrase or join a conversation. On the other hand, if you avoid speaking because you fear mistakes, your confidence gets smaller. You start to believe you cannot speak English, when the truth is, you just have not practiced enough. The fear has tricked you into not doing the very thing that would help you overcome it. The wonderful thing about talking to be understood, not to be perfect, is that it is not just about getting your message across. It is about the relationship you build when you do. When you bravely try to speak, even with mistakes, you show respect for the person you are talking to. You are making an effort to connect with them in their language. Most people really appreciate this effort. They are more likely to be patient, helpful, and friendly towards you. Your willingness to communicate, rather than your perfect grammar, is what builds trust and real connection. Think about a student named Maria. She was in a university group project. She had excellent ideas for their presentation, but she was very scared to speak English in their meetings. She worried her accent was too strong and her grammar was not good enough. For the first few meetings, she stayed quiet, just nodding. Her groupmates had trouble understanding her written notes, and they missed out on her good ideas. Then, during an important meeting, Maria had a brilliant idea. She knew if she did not say it, the project might not be as good. She took a deep breath and spoke. I think we can use the example from the book. Chapter 3. It show how the problem start. Her sentence was not perfect. It should be it shows, and how the problem start could be how the problem started. But her groupmates understood. They saw that her suggestion made sense. One of them said, "That's a great idea, Maria." Using the Chapter 3 example makes it much clearer. Maria felt a wave of relief and pride. Her idea was heard. Her contribution was valued. Even though her English was not perfect, she had communicated well. This small success gave her the courage to speak a little more in the next meeting, and the meeting after that. She started to fix her own small errors as she went, learning from the process. Her confidence grew, not because she suddenly became perfect, but because she realized that her voice was important, and that her attempts to speak were enough to make a difference. She was connecting with her team, and that was the most important thing. Trying to be perfect can also make us think too much. We pause for too long, trying to find the perfect word or the perfect sentence. This hesitation can interrupt the flow of conversation. It can make the other person feel uncomfortable or impatient. When we focus on communication, we learn to speak more naturally. We accept that a good enough sentence, spoken clearly and with purpose, is often better than a perfect sentence that is never spoken. This natural flow is what makes conversations feel lively and interesting. Think about the mental challenges. The fear of being judged is a big one. We worry about being seen as not smart or not capable because of our language skills. Focusing on communication shifts the attention from what we think are our weaknesses to our ability to share and connect. It tells us that our value as a person is not based on our grammar. Another challenge is the fear of failure. We see mistakes as proof that we are not good enough. But by seeing mistakes as chances to learn, we remove the shame that comes with them. They become simple, informative events. Talking to be understood, not to be perfect, does not mean giving up on getting better. It means changing where you start and what your immediate goal is. It means understanding that speaking fluently is not about never making mistakes. It is about being able to use the language well even with them. It is about building connections between people, one conversation at a time. Every attempt to speak, even if not perfect, is a success because it moves you forward. It makes you better at connecting and builds the confidence you need to keep going. So, the next time you feel that familiar worry before speaking English, remember Maria in her group meeting or the tourist in the market. Remember that your goal is to be understood, to share your thoughts, and to connect with others. The exact words are less important than the message itself. Enjoy the journey, learn from every word, and most importantly, speak up. Your voice matters and the world is ready to hear it, even with its imperfections. By focusing on connecting, not on being perfect, you discover the true power of language and build the confidence to use it. Practicing English with others. Learning to speak English is like learning to ride a bike. You can read many books about how to balance and pedal, but you will only learn when you actually get on the bike and try. Speaking English is very similar. Studying grammar and memorizing words is helpful, but the real progress happens when you start talking with people. Language is for connecting with others, sharing ideas, and understanding each other. It comes alive when we use it. When you speak English with someone, it's different from practicing alone. There is a real person there with their own thoughts. You have to listen and think about how to answer. This is a more active way to learn. You are not just repeating words, you are having a conversation. A big advantage is getting help right away. If the other person looks confused, you know you need to explain it differently. If they understand you, it makes you feel more confident. You learn how people really talk, the rhythm of their sentences, and common phrases. This helps you sound more natural. Practicing with others helps you feel more confident. When you share an idea with someone, it feels good. It shows you that you can connect with someone using English. This helps you overcome the fear of speaking. It tells your brain, I can do this. This is where our main idea, communication over perfection, is important. When you talk with someone, your main goal is to share your thoughts and understand theirs. It's not about having perfect sentences every time. It's about making that connection. If you say something a little wrong but the person understands you, that's a win. You communicated. That's the most important part. So, how do you find people to practice with? There are many ways, and they are easier than you might think. One way is to find a language exchange partner. This is someone who wants to learn your language and you want to learn theirs. You can meet online or in person. If you want to learn English and they want to learn your language, you can spend half your time speaking English and half speaking their language. Many websites and apps help language learners connect. You can create a profile and look for an English partner. Don't be shy. Most people there are also learners and want to practice. When you message someone, be honest. You can say, "Hi, my name is your name. I am learning English and I would love to practice speaking with you. I can help you with your language if you like. Would you be interested in a video call sometime?" This is a good way to start. It is clear and shows you want to practice. Another option is to find English-speaking friends or colleagues. If you have friends or coworkers who speak English well, ask them to help you practice. You could set aside a few minutes each week. Maybe during a coffee break, you can chat in English. Or ask a friend, "Hey, can we try to speak only English for our next phone call?" Most people are happy to help a friend. Just let them know you're learning and appreciate their patience. You can say, "Please don't worry about correcting every mistake. I just want to practice speaking and be understood." This reminds them of communication over perfection. Your goal is to connect, and their goal is to help you connect. If you don't know many English speakers, look for conversation groups or clubs. Many places have groups where people meet to practice English. You can often find these by searching online for English conversation group your city. These groups are great because everyone is there to practice speaking. The atmosphere is usually friendly and supportive. You'll meet different people, which helps you get used to different accents and ways of speaking. Also, you don't always have to practice with someone who speaks English as their first language. Practicing with other learners is very helpful. When you talk with someone else learning, you understand each other's challenges. You might make similar mistakes, and that's okay. You can help each other. You can practice explaining things in different ways. You can encourage each other. When you both focus on communication over perfection, you can have very good practice sessions. You know that neither of you needs to be perfect, which takes away pressure. It's like two people learning to swim together. Once you find someone to practice with, how can you make the most of it? How can you set yourself up for success, where success means communicating, not being perfect? First, tell them you are a learner. Before you start talking, let the other person know you are learning English. You can say, "I'm practicing my English, so I might make some mistakes, but I'm really trying my best to communicate my ideas." This helps them know what to expect. They will likely be more patient. They won't be surprised if you pause or use simple words. This honesty builds trust and makes the conversation more comfortable. Second, focus on getting your message across. This is the main point of communication over perfection. When you speak, your main goal is for the other person to understand what you mean. Don't worry too much about finding the perfect word or the most correct sentence. If you can't think of a word, try to describe it. For example, instead of refrigerator, you could say, that big cold box in the kitchen where we keep food? The person will likely understand, and they might even tell you the word you were looking for. This is a learning moment, not a mistake. You shared your idea. Third, don't be afraid to ask for clarification or repetition. It's normal not to understand everything when you're learning. If the other person says something you don't understand, ask them to repeat it. You can say, "Sorry, can you say that again, please?" Or "I didn't quite understand. Could you repeat that?" You can also ask them to speak more slowly. "Could you speak a little more slowly, please?" This shows you were paying attention and want to understand. It shows you were serious about communicating. And finally, be happy with your effort and small wins. Every time you speak, every time you try to share your thoughts, it's a success. Did you have a 5-minute conversation? That's great. Did you explain your idea clearly, even with a few wrong words? Wonderful. Be proud of yourself for trying. This positive feeling is important for building confidence. Your effort and willingness to communicate are what matter most, not being perfect. Now, let's talk about those worries that can stop us. These fears are common when learning something new, but we can face them and think about them differently using our main idea. What if they laugh at me? This is a big fear. But if you are practicing with someone who wants to help you learn, they are unlikely to laugh at you. They might laugh with you if something funny happens, but that's different. If someone laughs in a mean way, remember that it says more about them. You are being brave and trying to improve. Their reaction doesn't change the value of your effort. Many people who have learned English themselves understand what it's like to struggle. So try to find kind and supportive people. And if you meet someone unkind, see it as a chance to become stronger. Your focus is on communication over perfection. Their laughter doesn't stop your attempts to communicate. What if I can't understand them? This is a real concern. Accents can be hard, and people sometimes speak fast. But you have tools. You can ask them to repeat, to slow down, or to say it differently. You can also use the situation to help you understand. If you understand the general topic, you can often guess the meaning of unknown words. If you don't understand something important, you can say, "I'm sorry, I missed that last part. Could you explain it differently?" This is normal in any conversation. The key is to not let not understanding stop the conversation. Keep trying to figure things out. Your effort to understand is part of communicating. What if I make too many mistakes? This fear is a big challenge. We worry that mistakes will make us sound silly. But remember the main idea: communication over perfection. Mistakes are not bad. They are chances to learn. Every mistake you learn from is a step forward. When you focus on being understood, you realize that a few grammar errors or pronunciation mistakes usually don't stop people from understanding you. People are often good at understanding the main idea. Think of it like telling a friend a funny story. If you stumble over a few words, do they stop listening? Usually not. They are interested in the story you are sharing. Your English is the way you share your story or idea. As long as the message gets across, it's working. Perfection is not the goal, connecting with others is. Practicing English with other people is one of the best ways to build real confidence. It takes courage to speak, but the rewards are huge. You are not just learning words and rules, you are learning to connect with the world. You are showing yourself that you can be understood, that you can share your thoughts and feelings. Every conversation, no matter how simple or imperfect, helps you grow. Each time you talk, you get better at communicating and less afraid. This brings a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can speak up. Finding and talking with practice partners is a big step. But what happens when you are talking and you don't understand, or you can't find the right word? The next section will share simple ways to handle these moments, so your conversations keep going and your confidence keeps growing. Conclusion: you have finished this book, Speak Up, Your Guide to English Confidence. Well done for coming this far. Do you remember when we started? We said it's okay to feel a little scared when you speak English. We knew you wouldn't be perfect right away. The most important thing we learned is talk to be understood, not to be perfect. What does this mean for you now? It means it's more important to share your ideas and be understood than to have perfect grammar or big words. It means your voice matters, even if you make mistakes. This idea gives you permission to speak. You read this book and learn new ways to speak. You hopefully started using them. That is good. Every time you tried to speak, even if it felt strange, you were getting better. We said it before, and it's worth saying again. Feeling nervous is good. It means you were trying hard and growing. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. You might wobble or fall, but you get back up and try again. Speaking English is like that. A small mistake is just a wobble, not a big fall. Instead of being afraid of mistakes, see them as helpful. Each time you say something wrong, you learn how to say it better next time. This is how everyone learns. Remember the easy steps we talked about? Starting with simple talks, practicing with people who understand, and learning one new phrase at a time. These are the steps to feeling more sure of yourself. Now, the real practice starts. This book gave you the tools and the way to think. The next step is to use them. Your journey is just beginning. Keep finding chances to speak. Even short talks count. A quick word with a shopkeeper, asking for directions, or joining a group online. Every word you say is practice. Make talk to be understood, not to be perfect, your daily reminder. When you feel nervous, tell yourself, I want to be understood, not perfect. Take a breath and speak. Find people and places where you feel safe to practice. Friends, people you can talk to in English, or groups online can help. Did you order your coffee in English today? Did you understand a joke? Did you ask a question? Be happy about these small wins. They show you are doing well. Doing it a little often is better than doing it a lot once. Imagine yourself needing to speak English. See yourself doing it, feeling a bit nervous, but speaking anyway. See yourself being understood and feeling good about it. Thinking about it helps a lot. Be nice to yourself. You are learning something hard. Instead of thinking I can't, think I am learning or I can try. The name of this book is Speak Up. It means it's time to talk. It's about using your voice in English. Don't let fear stop you. Being able to talk is your special power. Believe in yourself. And most importantly, keep speaking. People want to hear what you have to say. Go now, speak up, and connect. You can do it.